Hey, guys. Today we are talking about being your wildly weird, wealthy self and how this is key to making more money, to being more successful, and to frankly being so freaking happy in your life. You wouldn't even believe it. So, one of the core pieces that I want you to understand above almost anything else in the whole dang world is that you are worthy, that you are enough, that you are deserving of every divine thing in this freaking world right the F now, right this minute, right now, in this present moment. Not once you've healed, not once you're better, not once you're fixed, not once you get more education, not once you're different, not once you earned it, not once you lost 10 pounds, not once you don't have any more wrinkles, not once you get a new wardrobe, not once you get your business figured out, not when your income months are complete, none of that shit. You are worthy right now, deserving enough for every desire you have in your heart, to be wildly wealthy, to be incredibly impactful in this world, to stand on a big stage, to have a best-selling book, to marry the love of your life, to sit on a farm and watch the chickens. Whatever makes you happy, whatever desires you have in your heart, you are worthy of them right now. And I want you to know that on such a deep level that the world reflects it to you, because this is the truth. This is the truth of the matter. When you can embody that depth of worthiness, that depth of enoughness, that depth of hell yes, I belong with my desires. I belong in a place where I get to be happy. I belong in a place where I get to be my weird ass self and succeed at it and be wealthy being my weird ass self. Then everything changes. Your energy changes. The way you approach people changes. Your warmth and connection with people changes. You know why? Because suddenly you feel more relaxed. You feel more at ease. You feel more generous. You feel more connected. Because the truth is, the more you can lean into being your weirdly, wildly wealthy self, which is truly about being your authentic self, the easier life becomes. Because let's be freaking real. You're not that good of an actor. You're not that good of an actor. Like, to walk through life to try to be what everybody else wants you to be is putting on airs, right? It's playing a part. It's trying to be something that you're not. When you do that, it's uncomfortable. It feels like wearing somebody else's clothes. It feels like playing a role in life instead of being part of the flow of life. And we want you to feel, or I want you to feel, you and me want you to feel, that life is a pleasure to live, that life is a delight to be a part of. When we can engage in that energy, that life is pleasure and fun, and I get to live it, and it gets to be juicy and ooey gooey and delectable and delightful and all of these things, what happens is we become a magnet to all of the things that we desire. This is truly about the being part of shifting your relationship with money, of shifting your relationship with success. I talk to my clients a lot about many different layers, the system that I work with my clients on in terms of shifting their relationship with money and success. It starts with nervous system regulation. We then go through traumas and old chronic stressors. We unstick all those stuck emotions that are stuck in your body and work through limiting beliefs. But it all comes back to the being. It all then comes together into the being of who and what you truly are, which is inherently valuable, which is always enough. You see, you're like a diamond that has been unearthed from the ground and is just beautiful and vibrant and perfect and gorgeous and just awesome. But it's been covered by the crap that society has taught you about there not being enough money, or it's really hard to make money, or it's really hard to be successful, or you don't have a mind for business, or whatever crap that you've taken on from your parents, from your culture, from your neighborhood, from your teachers, from your ancestors, from marketing, from advertising that's trying to sell us that we're broken. You're not broken. And the more that you can embrace the fact that you're not broken and that you're inherently valuable at your core, the more you become that magnet to what it is that you want, because you show up differently. When you are embracing the being of being this wildly, weirdly wealthy self, you are suddenly the wealthy person, even before the bank account reflects that. And that becomes one of those sound waves, you know what I mean? One of those waves that goes ahead of the boat. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a boat and there's waves that go ahead of the boat, it's the wave that goes ahead of the income following behind. Another way to think about this is you're like a delicious cake, right? If we had like a beautiful like carrot cake or something, I'm weird and I love carrot cake. It's one of my favorites. If you have a delicious carrot cake, that cake is so yummy, yummy, yummy on its own, right? I want to eat that cake all day. But when you put the cream cheese frosting on it, yum, that's so much better. That cake is even better, right? But it doesn't take away the value of the carrot cake in and of itself. Well, you're like this delicious cake. That cake, i.e. you, who you are, is valuable in and of itself. The cream cheese frosting is maybe the other credential, is maybe, I want to get a strategy in my business. It's maybe that, I want to, lose 5 pounds, or I want to, get new branding on my business, or whatever it might be. All of these things you tell yourself you need before you can be a delicious cake. Well, you always were a delicious, yummy cake. All the other stuff is frosting. All the other stuff is extra. All the other stuff just makes the yummy cake even yummier. And the more you can embrace your own yumminess right now, the more you understand that cake deserves to be eaten just like you deserve to have wealth and abundance and success right now. Not once you are more, not once you have achieved more, or your earnings prove to people that you're worth it, or that you have what it takes, or once you have shown people that your branding's on point, or you get your Instagram bio worked out. Like, screw all that shit. Be yourself. Who you are is the most valuable tool you have in your toolkit. And the weirder and wilder you allow yourself to be, the more that comes out. Because the more you come home to yourself, the more you come home to who and what you actually are. And this might rock your world, because we think we have to be different and heal and all of this shit in order to attract what we want into our lives, in order to make more money, in order to shift our relationship with money. Yeah, we have to release stuff and let it go. But truly what we need to do is we need to embrace our own magic, our own wildly, weirdly wealthy self that already exists within each and every one of us. So here's the long and short of it. You don't have to try to be worthy. It can be easy. Your life can be easy. Making money can be easy. Being successful in your business can be easy. It can be fun. It can be pleasurable. It can be an experiment. It can be full of play. And you don't have to try so hard when you align with your highest, greatest, weirdly, wildly wealthy self. But the problem is, like I said, with that diamond and the crap caked around the diamond, when you unearth it, the world tries to ask us to contort and be something that we're not. We're not only taught these things from our culture, from our conditioning, from our past experiences, from our traumas and chronic stresses and ancestral, all this crap, messages and social media, all of this stuff. But the world is continuously trying to ask us to be something that we're not. It's trying to ask us to be something to fit in. And some of this goes back to a very primal part of us and a very primal part of our brain. A very tribal part of who we are. You see, when we were in tribes, we were living in caves and stuff, it was advantageous to fit in so that you weren't shoved out of the cave, away from the fire and away from the one deer you guys had for the whole winter or whatever it might be. You see, at that point in our society, resources were scarce. And there was a lack of resources, and there wasn't always enough to go around, or you'd be shoved out in the cold and you wouldn't have shoes and your feet would freeze off your legs, that kind of a thing. And so a part of our primal brain actually fears being shoved out of the tribe, being shoved out of the cave, And fear's death. I know that sounds extreme. It sounds like, oh, come on, be more dramatic, Ash. Well, this is the way our primal brain actually functions. And so when we are afraid of being shoved out of the tribe and being shoved out of the cave, what happens is we then subconsciously sabotage ourselves and hold ourselves back from being our authentic self. Because being authentic wasn't as advantageous back then, but our society is different now. And it's not based upon the same premises as it used to. There's more than one deer to go around, so to speak. There is an abundance of opportunity available to you at any one time. And the more that you can relax that primal part of your brain through things like I talked about earlier, nervous system regulation and getting rid of those limiting beliefs and all of these things that I talk about with my clients, the more you are able to step into the feeling of it's safe to be myself, which then opens you up to more wealth and abundance. It becomes this whole system, this whole cycle that works together, which is awesome and magical and amazing when we open up to that expansion. But when we're stuck in that state of chronic stress and chronic tension, what happens is we get tighter and tighter and tighter, and the world feels like it's full of more lack and more scarcity, and we get more and more afraid. And so this is why it's so important to do the work on being your wildly weird, authentic, wealthy self and standing in the confidence that you get to be you and that you are deserving and worthy right the F now, not once you are different or have earned it or have proved it to anybody. There's no one to prove it to. And as long as you are tied to these external factors that says, I have to prove it to somebody else or I have to show somebody else my worth, guess what? That means your wealth. That means your abundance. That means your success will always be externally validated, i.e., somebody will have to give you approval when you've done a good job, but will always also be on a yo-yo of what other people think and how other people respond to you. And so you'll never be able to hang on to that consistent mindset that says, I'm always safe. And even if I'm having a bad income month or I'm having disappointment or I'm feeling discouraged, I don't have to allow the external world to dictate how I feel about myself and how I feel about what's happening next. And when I don't allow the external world to dictate how I feel about myself and what's happening next, that means that I can continue to take action even if I've encountered disappointment or even if things aren't going according to plan. And I can continue taking action from a place of safety, from a place of being at home in myself, of feeling like I deserve success and abundance and wealth, even if it's not here yet. And that's when shit changes so dramatically. And that's when you feel lit up every day, even when every day is challenging. One of my favorite things to say is every single day is the best day of my life. The reason that every single day is the best day of my life is because every day I get better and better, and every day I learn more and more, and every day I choose me. I choose happiness. I choose pleasure. Because when I do, it's not selfish. What it is it sends out those ripples in the rest of my life that I'm truly that abundant. And it impacts every relationship I have. It impacts my finances. It impacts my clients. It impacts I'm around. It impacts everything. And this is what can happen for you as well. So you get to be successful being you. You get to be successful being at home in yourself. You get to have more money and be wildly wealthy in sweatpants, with your hair all messy, with, a big zit on your face or whatever the hell it is that you've told yourself, well, I can't do it right now because I have this, and this reason. Throw your reasons in the fuck it bucket and start now because you deserve it now. It's time to embody your worthiness for more. It's time to feel as though you're worthy of expressing your creative genius. It's time to feel worthy of being weird, of being offbeat, of being an iconoclast, a leader, to say unpopular things, to be disliked if people don't like it, fuck 'em, and to stick your neck out and to be seen. You deserve all of that. You deserve every delicious piece of that. And it's absolutely necessary for more wealth, for more success, for more abundance. Because what happens when we don't embrace this is we contort ourselves. We become vanilla, become boring. We go into that fawn response of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, where we go into trying to make sure everybody else is happy with us. Guess what? Like I was saying with vanilla, the only flavor everybody likes is vanilla. But don't we all want to just be our own Rocky Road self? Our own, I don't know, strawberry surprise with a side of caramel self? I don't know if that would be good or not, but maybe. You're the one who decides. When we aren't our wildly weird, wealthy self and we don't allow that authentic truth to come through, that's when we end up playing the game by other people's rules instead of setting our own rules, instead of realizing that we're here on this planet to live life by our own rhythms. This is when we toe the line, when we dim our shine. And that's when we get lost in the weeds of trying to make home a place that doesn't fit, a place that isn't you, a place that doesn't feel right. That's when you end up with a business that you resent. You work with clients that you're like, oh, this is not what I want to be doing. So when you're in a job that you dread every day or gives you a stomach ache when you arrive at in the morning. Who's experienced that before? I know I did when I used to be a psychologist. I would feel like I was going to barf like the next morning because it wasn't the right fit for me. And yet we tune it out because we're so used to believing all of this crap instead of recognizing that we can be ourselves and we can create the life that we most truly desire and be wildly wealthy doing it, wildly successful, make a big impact, express our creative genius, and be just so deliciously happy doing it all. And that, my friends, is what I want for you.